everybody, and welcome back to Movie and a Haunt, where it's somebody's birthday.
That's me. It's Paige. Hi.
How does it feel to be 30? Officially, not just mentally.
Yeah, physically, I've been feeling it for the past 5 years, but I'm good. I'm here. I'm 30. Yeah, but for my birthday, I picked this movie, and this movie, as you could tell from the title, is GingerSnaps.
I've never seen this.
I've seen...
Genuinely, like, I've heard of it. I always thought it looked corny, and I was like, it's probably a terrible movie. And then you're like, no, it's really good.
Yeah, see, that's how I felt, too. I've seen it here and there, but I sat down, watched it during my... Because in October, I like to try to watch one horror movie a night, if possible. Ones that I haven't seen, and it was one of them. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I'll get it out of the way. And it's really good. The trailer is misleading. I feel like the trailer is very corny and very, very dated of its time.
It's, this movie's Canadian, I'm guessing.
Yes.
It's very Canadian in the trailer.
It's by...
Like very early... Like 2000, probably, like 2000 Canada.
It gives me Buffy vibes. I mean, that's not Canadian, but...
But the thing is, this gives me like 1996 Buffy, which would make sense for Canada, because 2000.
Yeah, it's by John Fawcett. If you don't know who John Fawcett is, he's a director. He's pretty I think he's kind of famous, at least in like the sci-fi sense. He did this, and he did GingerSnaps 2. In GingerSnaps 2, he got Tatiana Maslany, who he then got for his really more famous show, Orphan Black, later on. So.
Oh, this is Orphan Black.
Well, yeah, this is the Orphan Black guy.
Oh. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, that changes how I'm going into this.
There you go,
now.
Yeah.
There it is. And to celebrate your birthday, I got some food that perfectly represents our friendship. McDonald's.
That perfectly encapsulates our friendship. I'm so glad you got that.
No, there's just no. While I was taking to McDonald's over to my recording area, I decided to do a tumble onto the ground. So, perfect representation here.
Fantastic.
But, the trailer, I'll agree with you. It was okay. I'm guessing the movie's gonna be slightly more comedic than the trailer came off as.
I don't know. I don't feel like it is. Maybe here and there, of course, because you got to have ebb and flow. But I find it pretty serious and scary.
It seems comedic.
I think it's just the trailer. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. I could be wrong.
Well, let's go and watch this. We'll be back in... I don't actually know how long this movie is.
Well, for them, we'll be back in 2 seconds.
See you in a few.
Okay, bye.
We watched a movie, but first, let's talk about the past real quick, because I want to just crush Paige's feelings.
Great. I mean, as you do.
Do not give our listeners the idea that I crush you. It's usually the other way around, to be honest here. So I learned about an alternate ending for Evil Dead 2013.
Oh, okay. Oh, that is our previous film that we
episode.
watched, if you guys watch chronologically or listen.
David was supposed to come back as a Deadite. Ew, David.
Ew, like literally, ew, David.
Ew, David.
Ew.
I was like, I learned about that info, and since I know it, she also needs to know it.
Quick
at this
question:
point.
Was it supposed to replace the demon that is her at the end? Oh, I'm so glad.
No.
Oh.
He was supposed to come back at the end as like a twist.
Oh no. We don't need that. In my
We're happy he stayed dead.
Yeah, bye, David.
All right.
Oh, quick
now,
disclaimer. I moved, so there will be a lot of background noise. I am next to a window near a main street. So, there we go. We're good.
I mean, it's not like dead on a main street.
We are. We are.
Like, we're near a Costco, so it's always a main street here.
All right, so we just finished watching GingerSnaps. I like this movie. and that's pretty much it. Well, I mean, we'll get into it at the end, but how does it start?
Very odd is the best way I can describe it. It starts with, what's the name of the dog that gets killed?
Not Norman.
Baxter,
yes.
Like, it's like, kid, it's creepy, but then it gets ridiculous because the mom runs out to the front yard. She's like, they got Baxter. And I'm like, shut the fuck up. And everyone tells her the same exact thing.
To me, that whole cold opening was the pitch. I think that's the pitch they went into the producers, and we're like, hey, this is our opening scene. What do you think?
It makes no sense.
No.
And then we get Norman.
The little shit dog.
I like Norman. Shut the fuck up. I mean, he's annoying as fuck.
Exactly.
I like Norman. We get Bridget, which is just... The more we went on, I was like, Princess Diary meets Nev Campbell, Cindy Prescott. You just kind of like put them together and they create this thing.
That's such
Bridget.
a spot on description. Holy crap.
And then we get her sister, as told by Ginger.
Yes, Ginger.
I'm sorry, you can't call a character that and me not have that play. Every time I heard the name, I'm like, I'm going to be thinking this the entire time. This will be my life. Okay, this is a weird opening. I guess these girls like filming themselves in sorry, they don't film themselves. They take pictures of themselves in like death scenarios.
Yeah, it's just to show that they're a little bit on the morbid, creepy side. Would I say this is of its time? Maybe.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
this movie came out in... I just found this out. Thank you, Wikipedia. August 1st, 2000, it premiered at the Munich Fantasy Film Festival, and then May 2001 is when it released.
Got it.
In theaters. But this movie, if it was filmed or like released in like 2003, would not work. It worked because this was like the end of the 90s, and this type of like weirdo type of personality thing was, I guess, okay in the 90s.
Yeah, that's a good point. When was the
especially the fashion?
When was The Craft? Do you remember?
The Craft? The Craft was 1998, I believe.
Okay, because it's giving me that type of where witchy, creepy teenage girls.
Oh, I was wrong. It's 96.
Okay, so you're right. It's on the end cusp of that. I can see that.
But that's basically the beginning. They're just like, everybody's gonna think we're awesome.
Yeah.
Watch me get impaled. Take a picture of me impaled on the fence.
I thought that looked cool.
It was nice, but then they had the weird one where she was like, put a clown balloon over my face.
Yeah, they had some interesting choices. I did like that it transitioned into the classroom, though, because it was part of a project. That was pretty cool.
Yep. And then everybody in the class was like, oh, they're bad bitches.
Yeah.
And then and then some of the guys were like, oh my God, Ginger's got titties. I want to fuck her. And then the teacher was like, that was disgusting and appalling, and I expect you in my office after this.
Yeah.
And scene.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it.
That is all that happens. I will say, though, after you told me that the actress who plays Ginger was in Freddy vs. Jason, I was like, and that's why I remembered her.
Yep.
Because she's the stoner.
Oh, before we go on, we were looking up the special effects artist.
I don't need the reminder that this dude did Hellraiser movies.
But, I mean, as we go on, we'll probably talk about it, but a lot of the practical special effects are really good. He worked on Orphan Black, Blade, Hellraiser 2 and 3?
Mm-hmm.
No, is it 3 and 4?
It's 2 and 3.
Fuck.
No, it's 2 and
Okay.
3. It's just, no matter what we do, no matter what we try, we can't escape that son of a bitch.
It's every episode we bring it up. We can't help ourselves.
Like, literally, I was coming into this episode happy. Friday has finally been kicked out of the top 5 best episodes by both Evil Deads. Thank you for that, by the way.
Thank you.
And I come in like, oh, it's going to be great. And then it's like, this son of a bitch did 2 Hellraiser movies. Have fun with that. And you know what? even better, to bring you back even more traumatic memories, he did Silent Hill.
Fantastic. Just because later on when there's, spoiler alert.
It gets very bladey.
Yeah, it gets very bladey. I thought he did some Buffy, but apparently not. But yeah. Okay, continue. I just didn't want to
Someone on that team did Buffy.
Somebody
on that team
had
did
their
Buffy.
hand in it for sure.
Either way, we go to the field hockey, which is, I guess it's the soccer field, but they're playing field hockey. By the way, back when I worked at Disney like 10 years ago for the college program, I had to run like a concession stand for a field hockey tournament at like ESPN's My World of Sports. Those sticks fucking hurt.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That shit's dangerous. Field hockey. I think like every game got stopped once because of an injury.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring that up because I saw field hockey. I'm like, oh, that brings back memories of me seeing people just get hurt, and then be like 30 minutes of, we can't continue the game. We'll get back to it eventually. Either way, we have Bridget and Ginger being like, let's talk about one of these bitches and how gross they are and how we would kill them.
And
let's talk to the girl who's 5 feet next to us.
Yeah, not even. And then their friend walks by and is like, she's talking shit about you.
What's her name, by the way?
Sinclair. I know her last name's Sinclair. It's like
I was like, there's no way her name's Trina.
Trina. There we go.
By the way, Trina is I think you know it's a talent when I hear you say a name. She was like, "Oh my god, hi Sam, how are you?" And all I thought about was Thanksgiving, where she's like, "Bobby." I was like, "That you're especially talented when you can bring me back to that movie." By the way, this movie, super Canadian.
Oh, very Canadian.
Super Canadian.
Everybody with their outs and sorries.
Everybody's so sorry. Everybody's so sorry in this movie. Either way, Bridget's like, I'm going to hit one of them while we're playing field hockey. And then guess what happens? Bridget gets blasted.
Yeah.
Even though she doesn't get blasted hard, she kind of just gets, like, bumped into.
Yeah, but it's not nice. She's a weak, frail little girl.
And then Ginger's like, I'll fucking kill her. I'll kill her for you. Give me a chance. Just give me a chance.
One time. It will take one time.
One moment. Either way, they're like, so instead of being, go the rest of school or outside, Trina, for some reason, has a Rottweiler.
It pops out of nowhere at the end of the school. I don't get it. Is there like doggy daycare?
Party's like, is that a help dog? Because if it is, who the fuck let the Rottweiler into the high school?
That's a big no-no. It's 2000, 2001. They don't have those.
And the thing was like, this dog didn't look nice either. This dog looked like it would fuck you up.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, look, it's the drug dealer. And that's where we meet Sam. And Trina's like, hi, Sam, you have my number. Remember me? And then Sam does not talk to her. According to camera, at least. He does not talk to her. And then Bridget and Ginger. For some reason I said Olivia. Don't ask me why. Okay. That was in my head. I'm going to have to catch myself a few times, I guess. They're like, let's kidnap her dog.
Yeah. They're just little shits, really. Bridget and Ginger. They're just little shitheads.
My favorite part with this movie is when they go to the parents' house and the parents are just super white.
Yeah, super like suburban.
Yes.
A couple.
By the way, let's talk about the best character arc of this movie.
The mom?
The mom.
I love her. They call her Pam. They don't call her mom. They just call her Pam or Pamela.
It's so funny because originally I did not like her. I was like, fuck this, mom. And then towards the end of the movie, I was like, you're the best character this movie has.
Exactly.
Go for it.
But I think that's really clever of both the writing and the acting is you're siding with both of the girls and you're supposed to be like, oh yeah, the mom's so uncool. But by the end, you understand that she's coming from a good place. And she really does understand her daughters. which is surprising because they're just so weird. But then you kind of figure out that the mom's also weird, you know?
Yeah, the fact that she's like, we'll burn the house down, leave your dad, and start a new life.
Like, no problem. It's like, oh, okay. She may have done this before.
And then the dad's just non-existent,
Yeah, no.
basically. It's about as existent as his personality.
Yep.
Either way. Oh, well, first, we're at dinner, you know, and mom's like, you have cramps. You're maybe having your first period.
Yeah. Like, oh my God, congratulations.
You're 3 years late. This
Yeah.
is the moment of celebration.
And then as normal teenage girls do, they're absolutely disgusted. Like, oh, Mom, what are you talking about?
And then they're like, your dad and I are going to counseling tonight. It's like, great.
Hey, that's very progressive for 2000.
It is. Like, don't go out. Next shot, they're going out.
Yeah.
And then they run into another Rottweiler, just another random. Hold up. Wait a minute. Let me stick a pitchfork in this one. Let's go back to the field hockey field where there was just a random ass dead dog that no one noticed in the middle of the field.
Right. I forgot about that. We were like, wait, hold up. What?
No one saw the dead dog
Like
in
smack
the
dab
middle of
in
the field.
And then Bridget just falls face first into it.
Because the thing is, they were all running around that area, so that means all of them had to jump over the dog and be like, oh, it's just a hurdle.
Look at that. Oh, it's a pile of dirt. Oh, my.
Oopsie. But also, I think it's sad because they're probably just like, because they're so used to this dog's dying. They're like, oh, no, another one got gutted.
Honest to God, the way everyone
Sadness.
reacted, that's exactly what happened.
They're just like, oh, well, we're used to it now. It's sad.
It is.
And you know what's even sadder is that is a perfect representation of like how today is with like violence and stuff. It's like you just become like so numb to it. You're like, and another one will probably happen next Tuesday.
Yeah. So
See you then.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now back to this dead dog.
Yes. Well, I think this is Trina's dog. No, it's not.
No, it's not. Because Trina later comes out. She's like, Ginger kidnapped my dog. And I'm like, when did I fall asleep for 5 minutes, not know, and then I'm back here now?
No, it's not even that, because remember, later on the dog barks at her.
Yeah.
So the dog is obviously still alive before that.
I'm just very upset about the whole she kidnapped my dog, and then I never got any context of the dog.
Yeah.
I don't even see the dead dog. Give me something. Either way, we now learn that every character in this movie has god-awful spatial awareness.
Right.
And you're like, well, it's dark out. And I'm like, this happens for the next hour and like 20 minutes. They're sitting there and they're like, oh. And then all of a sudden it's just a random ass dog. I'm like, you did not hear that thing coming. And then you see what Ginger turns into. You're like, you should have seen that thing coming.
Yeah, it's ginormous.
It's like a naked mole rat on crack. Either way, it's supposed to be scary. It's kind of comedic.
I like the attack, though, because you're very disheveled. You don't know what's going on because of the camera work, because you're in Bridget's point of view, basically. I like it. I think they do a good job.
I just think it's comedic. I keep thinking Olivia. Don't ask me why. For Ginger, she's like, I think it was when she was like crawling the bridge and then she gets like dragged back. I'm like, this is basically a comedy at this point. Either way, the dog gets flashed in the face with a Polaroid.
Yeah.
And then like, let's run. And then let Sam hit it with a car.
It gets fucked, though.
It does. And that I love how that guy, Sam was just like, do I just drive away?
Basically. I wonder what he did with the body. They never talk about that. The town doesn't talk about it, like they found it on the side of the road.
He probably turned it into drugs. That's probably what he did.
Oh, yeah.
Either way, they get back home, and Bridget's like, Mom, Dad. And I'm like, bitch, they're at counseling. They're working on their marriage.
Yeah, because Ginger is really messed up here.
But she's already healing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's literally it. Then, like, you know, she's bloody, great prosthetics, beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And then
the cuts look really
next
good.
morning arises.
Mm-hmm.
And Ginger is hot.
Yeah, just immediately. Just
Ginger got her gray streaks in the front of her hair, and now she's hot.
she's feeling it.
She's wearing a crop top. She has a nice trench coat. Where the fuck she got this new wardrobe?
She's got like a push-up bra going on.
Like, I love how this entire movie for Ginger, it's like, what's her character? Like, well, how do everyone see her? And they're like, she's got titties.
Out of everyone here, she's got tits.
It's like, everyone else has titties, but she's got titties. And that's kind of how this movie is. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then, I guess this character makes no sense.
Jason?
Yeah, he makes no sense.
Yeah,
because he's there, and then he's not, and then he's there, and then he's not. He's kind of he's a plot device for other things to kind of happen.
Basically, from what I see, so long story short, Jason's an asshole. He tries to hook up with Ginger. Ginger says no. Then after she gets bitten, she's like, yeah, I want some. They have this whole thing going on. They have unprotected sex, which infects him later on. And then through that infection, we get to see how that kind of, you know, manifests. Either because A, he's a man, or 2, because it wasn't a bite, it's an infection.
This is his acting was I was like, oh, this is like an extended episode of Goosebumps.
Yeah.
Every time he was on the screen.
Yeah, you're right.
Also, remember I was like, this was the last year this movie was allowed to release. His hair is the reason.
Ah, yes.
It was curly. It was product with so much of that slimy hair gel that just turned your hair into stone.
Oh, yeah.
The wind can come. It won't budge.
I remember that.
You have to shampoo like 5 times.
Yeah, I remember that well.
It may budge.
The boys just loved wearing that shit.
It is. And they still sell it today. And like, I feel like every time someone does their hair for the first time, that is what they use. Mm-hmm. And it's so sad because their hair just turns into like, I can't describe it because I remember it very well. And I remember touching it with my hands and I'm like, ugh. Like you could like take the split ends of your hair and like split them. I'm surprised that didn't make your hair fall out.
I'm sure it will. If you keep using it, it will.
Now it's like my hair has to look natural while it's swooped. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
They fuck. That's
pretty much it.
They smoke weed, then they fuck. That's it.
So Sam and Bridget talk, and Sam's like, "Oh, it's like I got, I hit a lycanthrope," and she's like, "I know what that is, a werewolf." And he's like, "Say what?" And then
like that's such a hard thing to know.
It's oh wow, no one knows what a lycanthrope is. Come on, these girls are creepy. Of course they're gonna know.
You're not like most girls. I can see that now.
You know what a werewolf is.
You wear skirts that go to your ankles and know what lycanthropes are? That's so hot. I make drugs. Want a date?
Okay, side note, I'm actually really happy that he clarifies that he doesn't see her in like a sexual way. I'm very glad they did that because 1, it's 2000. 2, he's like 18, 19, right? He doesn't go to school.
She's 15.
She's 15. I'm so glad they clarified that.
I mean, by the way he treats her, it's very obvious he doesn't like her.
Yeah, I know, but I'm glad they say it outright.
Either way, like I said, Ginger, we smoke some weed, we get barked at a dog, we fuck a guy.
As you do, once you get your period.
Boom, 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 3 days.
Just immediately.
And then, well, okay, now we have like a double story going on for a little bit because they're like, oh, they're both dating men and they're both dating one guy. They are sluts for dating one guy. Well, false. It's that Trina's upset because Sam's talking to Bridget. Sam? That's literally it.
She's just jealous. And she does clarify why she's jealous in a way. Sam's actually a piece of shit, according to Trina. He took her virginity and never called her back or anything like that and made her feel like shit. So I get where she's coming from, but whatever.
I think the reason why that confuses me, in a sense, is just the way her character goes for him the entire movie, and then that's the twist. I'm like, eh.
She was grasping.
If she was maybe a little bit spiteful, or if she was a little bit, like, wishy-washy with him, but, like, it seemed like... Well, first, it didn't seem like they ever slept. It felt like it was a...
one-sided.
Work in progress for her, yeah. And I guess it technically is one-sided, but I guess it was just once kind of like validation, one-sidedness.
Yeah.
This is where okay, I'm just gonna say right now, this movie has so much going on, and it's like 1 hour and 48-minute runtime. I'm gonna forget stuff.
Yeah, we are. There's a lot packed in. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It's just a lot to take in.
Yeah. Especially when you are a reaction podcast and you're just like, I watched the movie 5 minutes ago. We're here now.
Yeah. So they get a calendar from the box of tampons, and Bridget uses it to track what's happening. She basically does throughout the entire month up until the end of October. She does werewolf research, how to kill it, symptoms, all that good stuff to see if she can figure out what the hell's going on with her sister. And it's mostly, I would say it's mostly a montage, quote unquote, until the last week.
Yeah, I mean, does Norman die in the first week or the last week?
I think it's the last week because things start to spiral out of control because we think that Ginger kills Jason, but it ends up being Norman.
Oh no, Norman.
No.
Not Norman. I've only seen him for 2 scenes. I love Norman, but I don't die. I'm not gonna. Also, I love how like this entire city's like, this movie's like, the victims are dogs. That's basically really all of them outside of maybe Sam? Humans? Oh, and the faculty members.
Yeah, and the janitor.
Because Trina just, she
eats shit.
Trips on some very lumpy milk.
Yeah, you're right.
It was super lumpy.
I do like how they cover that up. But where are we now? Where are we now in the timeline?
We just killed. We just fucked. We just killed.
Okay.
That's literally it. And we just learned that we have a tail.
Oh, yeah. It's a little tail. Bridget goes and talks with Sam after this, right? This is where they really start to talk about it?
Yes. And this is where the diversion is that it's Bridget telling Sam that she has it.
I like this. I mean, throughout the entire movie, what it's about is basically Ginger and Bridget's relationship and how close they are and how much they mean to each other. No matter what, Bridget is always looking out for Ginger. Even here, she takes the blame for this, and that seems to be her type of character. She'll take the shit for Ginger, and Ginger's actually pretty selfish, but she still loves her sister, and you see that throughout the entire film. I like consistency in movies, and when we get it in horror movies, which is extremely rare, I like to point it out.
And then the next day. Oh, right. That's the weird event. Is that Sam comes to Bridget, says, can we talk? And then Bridget's like, I'll talk later. Mm-hmm. And then Trina's like, I'm going to fuck her up.
Yeah. She's talking to Sam? This bitch gonna die.
And you're right. You are right. Now, which one specifically is where you're wrong? Either way, Trina bodies Bridget, and then Ginger's like, attack mode.
Yeah, she messes her up. I don't know if you caught it there, but
her fangs come out.
Yeah, her fangs come out, and there's a snarl, like a growl snarl, and she just fucks up Trina on the field.
And then you know where you have to go? To the guidance counselor's office.
It's like, okay.
Also, I was going to say it. This brought me back to when I was in school. I was like, oh, God, the guidance counselor.
Yeah, I know, right?
Acting like holier than thou. And it's like, that's not the truth. The way the guidance counselor works is whichever side runs to the guidance counselor first, that's the side the guidance counselor takes.
Basically.
That's their thing. They don't actually do their jobs.
I hit my mic. I'm so sorry.
To all the guidance counselors of the world, you may or may not be useless, in my opinion. Some of you are good. Most of you are useless. Either way, Bridget's like, this is where they formed the one-day plan. It only works for like a day, and it doesn't even work. You can't go to school. That's it. Like, I'm going to forge my mom's signature. And my mom's and the school's definitely not going to call my mom to ask how she's doing.
No, of course.
That's basically the entire day.
Yeah, she
and then Jason does attack Bridget.
Yeah, and this is where we really... Because before we did see Jason and, like, he was peeing blood. He was looking a little fucked up. Like, he has boils and sores on his face.
Yeah.
Which is... I just find it really cool that this movie interprets a lycanthrope infection as, like, an actual STI. Or, like, an STD of some sort. It's pretty cool. And he's got fangs now that he cannot talk with at all.
It's really bad because Ginger's been talking with them for the last like 20 minutes and you wouldn't notice unless you look at her teeth.
Yeah, she's really good at that. And we were talking about the prosthetic, and it's not just 2 teeth. It's the entire top portion of her mouth, basically.
Yeah.
And
it gives her a major overbite.
Yes, and I was really impressed.
And he's sitting there with, like, sounds like he has the fucking, like, Count Dracula plastic teeth you get from, like, a Party City.
Yeah.
He's just sitting there just like, Bridget, you got to tell me what Ginger is. She did this to me. As you can tell, I'm feeling a little funny. I'm like, yeah, I bet you do, dude. And then we got creepy janitor come in who likes to stare at... Okay, what is it with every character in this movie wanting to stare at one of the main characters' titties? Like, what is the point of this? Because it's just like, what's his character? He stares at Bridget's titties. What's Jason's character? He stares at Ginger's titties. That's all these characters are.
It is a small town, okay?
It is. It is, but at the same time, you know how, like, last time, like, last episode, I was like, her character, girlfriend. This one's just like, their characters, titties. That's it. Kind of it. Either way, Bridget runs, she goes to school, she goes back home, and mom's like, they fucking called me, dude.
Yeah, but I think what's cool is the mom is like, you know, what's going on? She's trying to get them to admit it before she calls them out on it. And then Ginger fucks up, says, yeah, I stayed home from school. Mom, you're, like, in my business. Leave me the fuck alone. And the mom tries to put down the hammer, but it doesn't work.
Oh, I guess we forgot one thing that led her to being forced to stay home is that Trina dies.
Oh, yeah. Real quick, the death of Trina was pretty good. She comes to the house and is like, fuck you, Bridget. Sam's mine.
You kidnapped my dog.
Yeah, that's
You remember my dog? I have a leash to remind you.
Ginger, I don't know why she does this. She kind of just, like, basically kidnaps Trina into the house, and a series of Final Destination events happen. Trina slips on milk, hits her head, dies.
And then she gets put in the freezer, which I will say... I want to know the brand of the freezer they had.
It's a Canadian freezer, that's why.
Because she was frozen to basically icicle within like 2 to 3 hours.
Yeah, if that, yeah.
It was impressive.
Again, I do like how they faked the fake death to explain the blood. That was cool.
I also like I think this is when the fingers get found. By the way, while they're getting Trina out of the freezer, they have to chisel her out. They chisel 2 of her fingers off. But later on, where Pam does it very well, she's just like, they're just props.
Yeah, because the husband finds it, and she's a good mom, man.
She's like, I will leave my husband for you.
100%. Well, she says it later in the car. She's like, you're my babies. I will do anything for you. They won't take you away from me. And, you know, that's really sweet.
But Bridget was right about one thing. This was not her fault.
No.
Everything down to the beginning was not her fault.
No. Poor mom.
And then poor mom gets stuck at the weird-ass Blade party.
She does.
By the way, the more and more this movie goes on, and as Ginger transforms, the more and more you're like, Blade and Buffy, it's all in the face.
I'm loving it. Also, along this, you know, series of events, Sam and Bridget figure out that they need wolfsbane, which is also month's root or month's root,
should
something like that. But it's basically wolfsbane that only grows in the spring. It's basically fall/winter. Mom comes home with them in the beginning of the movie, which is cool, from a craft store, and they've bloomed, and oh shit, we have a cure now.
And that's really what happens next.
Mm-hmm.
Well, first things first, Bridget and Ginger go to see Sam, and Ginger's like, I'm sassy now.
Yeah.
I make great one-liners. My hair is grayer. My teeth are more and more beautiful.
They're very sharp.
My trench coats are getting even more fashionable.
They are. This is where it goes to show that Ginger is definitely selfish. And
yeah.
Bridget does point it out later, is that anything that Bridget has... Wait, did I say Ginger is selfish? I hope I did.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything that Bridget has, Ginger wants. And basically, Bridget can't have anything for herself, including Sam, which she thinks is like a sexual thing, Ginger, which it's not.
I think it's more interesting because she is a werewolf. And, you know, dogs are known to be very...
territorial.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I didn't even make that connection. That makes a lot of sense.
So it's more of like, she wants to take that territory because she views Bridget as beneath her. So everything that is Bridget's is also hers.
I didn't even think of that. Good point. I like that.
Now, that doesn't describe how she was before all this began, but that's probably how... Yeah, it's like it's just enhanced now.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it was probably viewed like that, is what I'd say.
That makes sense.
Paige took a sip, so I take a sip.
Gotta stay hydrated.
Every time I edit one of these episodes, I hear like me drink, and I'm like, gross. Either way, though, they make it, and they're like, I'm not sure this is gonna work.
It could straight up kill her.
It may kill her.
Yeah.
And then in the straight from your most recent episode of Goosebumps, you hear a little girl screaming, and she's in a cow outfit. She's just like, ah! And then you see Jason just like turn around. He's like,
he's fucked up, and he's
all boily.
Yeah, he's gross, man.
And he's like, oh god.
The lines. The
I'm
lines.
sorry. This is where it says, this is where I go, like, it's Goosebumps, not because, A, because of the lines, but B,
the
because
acting.
this poor kid cannot talk with his teeth in.
It's really... I can't take him seriously. I know this is supposed to be a little scary and, like, you know, oh, man, he's going to attack Bridget. But I'm like, he looks just stupid.
He looks so dumb. He's like, oh, look, it's a girl. Come here,
Papa.
girlie. I'm like, oh god. At least with Ginger they give like growls and stuff. With him it's just like, oh, I'm evil.
But hey,
either way,
perfect test
stabs
subject.
him in the neck.
Yeah, you just straight up doesn't kill him. He gets up like nothing happens, and he has the needle still
The
in his
syringe
neck.
in his neck. I'm like, oh, someone's got to take that out. Shit.
But that was cool.
Either way. See, this is where everything happens now, because it's like, we do this, we have the cure. As this is happening, Ginger is locked in the bathroom.
Yeah, Bridget locked her in there for her own safety and everyone else's.
Yeah. Ginger went to school regardless.
Yeah, she did. She made it out.
She did. I will say, when they woke up in the morning, there was just a tail. Because the tail keeps getting longer and longer.
Oh, at one point they taped it in school. Oh, it's so gross. I loved it.
And then Ginger goes to school. She sees Jason's friends, and she goes, "You know what, boys? Titties."
And they're like, "Yeah, tits."
And the guidance counselor's like, "No, no, to my office." And then Ginger comes to school. Not Ginger comes to school. Bridget goes back to the school. And she clawed the fucker's face.
Yeah, she goes to the counselor's office, and I really like the prosthetics here, too. He's got a big chunk of his shoulder clawed out. His ear is bitten. Blood is freaking everywhere. It's really nice.
The lighting is red.
Yeah. Oh,
it's very
quick.
moody. Very moody.
Yes. The lighting has been pretty decent throughout the entire movie. There are points where it is better than others. But I think from here on, when they get into the school, throughout the rest of the movie, the lighting is so fucking spot on and really well done. A lot of mood lighting, a lot of playing with colors, even set design. There was a lot of playing with colors that I enjoyed.
Another thing, sorry for the yawn. I just want to talk about this because I brought it up and you were like, maybe, and then like maybe it's just to accentuate the gray, and then we're like, maybe maybe they just filmed this movie in out of order and the hair dye was just running out at the beginning of the movie.
So you know how we always say non-linear editing? We always
this was non-linear filming.
Yeah, we always forget that most movies are not filmed chronologically. So it probably started out really red and then just got darker later.
Literally, I was like, is it redder? You're like, I think it's the lighting. And then we get to like the Trina fight, and you're like, no, it's definitely redder.
Yeah.
It's definitely redder. Like I said, this story is as told by Ginger.
And at this point, when we see her after she attacked the guidance counselor, her face is starting to transform on her left side. We get a blue eye. The eye inside near the nose is kind of like forming together. And the mouth is kind of pushed up. So we're getting kind of like an elongated effect with regular makeup. That looks really good.
Oh, I forgot to tell you, the guy who did the makeup effects for this, like that type of stuff, also did some for a later Star Trek season. And that makes perfect sense of what happened to this face.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think it was like Star Trek Discovery.
Oh, okay.
And I know Star Trek has some weird characters in it, and this just looks like something that you would maybe see something that was more sci-fi.
For sure.
And he also does, which is probably why Ginger's mouth was so good. What We Do in the Shadows.
Yes, which obviously vampires, but that does have good practical effects as well. And if you guys haven't watched that, not just the movie, but the TV show is really good. Check it out.
But, Ginger's like, I don't want to go to jail for the rest of my life. How are you going to help me?
See? Yeah, exactly. And
Bridget,
Bridget,
run away.
The ever good sister, is like, we'll clean it up. We'll find a way.
And then Bridget gets the janitor's, I forgot what that's called.
It's janitorial cart type of thing.
But too late. The janitor has made it to the guidance counselor's office. And Ginger's past the point of no return.
Yeah,
at this point.
She says it later. She says she just loves the kill.
And she kills.
The janitor.
Now, I will acknowledge this is the part where I probably didn't see it because I was looking up the special effects artist during this bit.
Oh, okay. So the janitor is kind of crawling towards Bridget, blood splurting from his neck. It's really cool looking. And they think he dies. He doesn't. And Bridget's like, okay, I can go get help. And then as she's saying that, Ginger just sticks her claw into his stomach and kills him. And then we find out, Ginger is definitely past the point of no return here.
And as this happening, Mom has found Trina.
Yeah.
And she's very disappointed in her amazing pumpkin earrings.
Oh, yeah, they were fantastic.
You know what's the most amazing thing about those earrings? It didn't weigh down her ear at all.
No.
It was like perfect.
Yeah, they were like little plastic ones.
Great.
Very cute. But she goes off. This is important. She goes off into the car looking for the girls. Bridget kind of Ginger kicks Bridget and they separate. Bridget's on her way trying to get to Sam because that's where Ginger's going. Mom picks her up and basically figures everything out. Kind of. She doesn't know about the werewolf thing. She just knows that they straight up killed Trina.
That's very hard to explain.
Yeah,
unless
true.
you see it, that is a hard thing to explain to a person.
True.
Either way, Ginger now has white hair.
Oh yeah, with some gray streaks, but it's all white.
She has turned into, before she becomes werewolf, she becomes kitty lady.
Yes, she becomes kitty lady mixed with vampire from Buffy. There's a lot going on here.
At a blade rave.
Yes.
In a greenhouse. What? Either way, she goes to Sam. And she's like, let's fuck, I guess.
Yeah, she's trying to get this. And Sam's like, oh, God, no.
And then Sam attacks her.
Yeah.
Oh, so not Sam attacks her. She attacks Sam. And then while that's happening, Bridget and her mom are in the car. And Pam just shows how just loyal, but like you said, she may have done this before.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, we'll leave in the morning. We'll set the house on fire.
Your dad...
I'll put all the gas on.
Your dad, we're leaving him. He'll just think I did
it. Everyone will think it's my fault.
Yeah.
Then we go in. We get... So I missed this part. I don't know why. This had to be blink and you miss it. I did not see where Bridget gets infected.
Yeah. So because Ginger's about to basically kill Sam, Bridget's like, you can't. She basically calls her out on her shit, right? She says, anything that's mine, you take. Fine. It's you and me to the end. So Bridget cuts her hand. She cuts Ginger's hand and makes a blood pact, which alludes to what she said about what they did when they were younger. They did the same thing. And this infects Bridget at a slower rate, kind of, but not really. And that's how that goes, basically.
And they're leaving the party, and they're like, we're going to leave Mom at the Blade Rave.
Yeah. And Sam comes out, smacks Ginger in the head, and Bridget's like, dude, what the fuck? I was getting her to go home.
You're
There's
fucking idiot.
Yeah, she says that. She's like, I have the cure at home. What the fuck? So they drive to the house.
Well, I think he put it best. He's like, how was I supposed to know you injected
true.
Jason and not Ginger?
Yeah, it's true. They drive to the house, and as they're driving there, we get a transformation scene as you need when you have a werewolf movie. What are your thoughts?
And then we get
what are your thoughts on the
on the
transformation?
I don't remember it.
What were you doing?
I don't remember. I don't know.
Okay. Well, in the back of the car, since they're going at nighttime, the lights from the street illuminate as you go on, of course. So they're using that to, signify the transformation. It's a lot of really good body horror. I like the transformation a lot. It's very creepy. Obviously, a lot of American Werewolf in London, and
you were able to watch that because, she did the belly button piercing. You were like, "Tell me when it's over."
Yeah, I just don't like anything with the belly button. I don't know.
That's such a weird thing. I'm sorry.
I know. I'm aware, but the transformation is very, very good. Okay, continue.
And then they hide in a pantry with a bunch of Campbell's soup.
Oh yeah.
So there's a whole shelf of Campbell's. This family is middle class because they got the name brand. And they were big cans of Campbell. They were like, we're going to have soup for 3 days with this. I hope you're ready. By the way, I just want to say I hate this family.
Why?
For how they eat at the dinner table. And I had to hear them hitting their plates.
Yeah, with the forks. I hate that too.
So gross. Eating. They had a whole ass ham. It was not Thanksgiving. I know it was not Thanksgiving.
They have money. They're middle class.
Yeah, let's go get a middle class ham. It was okay. Either way, Sam's like, let me help you. Because you can't do everything alone in life. And then the minute Bridget learns that, he's like, is the minute Sam dies. It's just like, Sam had to be here to make the drugs. But now that the final drug has been made, he can die.
Yeah, and that's it. That was his purpose. I do like his death scene. I think his hyperventilating is really good. It's very creepy and unsettling. He's very bloody.
And they're in the basement. I don't know what the fuck that basement was. I'm sorry. I think it was ugly.
This is where
it was ugly. It was unfinished.
This is where we get the first full body shot of Ginger as the wolf, right?
You mean the guy in the wolf suit?
Yes.
Yes, this is where we get the shot, and I'm just like, you remember like an hour ago where Bridget was like watching that werewolf horror movie, and you were like, well, at least we're not watching this. I'm like, I feel like we are though. It looks very similar. It's a dude in a werewolf suit.
There's only so much you can do, right? I mean, special effects were nowhere near what they needed it to be. If they were gonna go like visuals, like 3D.
Yeah.
I think this was the best bet that they could do at this point.
Either way, Sam dies. I mean, like, I know they try to make Sam like a good character, but like
He's
I couldn't
not.
care less about him.
That's he's not a good person. I don't think they were trying to do.
Oh, sorry, a character you would be sad about dying.
Oh, yeah, no, fuck him.
I couldn't care less. I was like, cool, you're dead.
You served
Moving
your purpose.
on.
Yeah.
Now let's watch Bridget drink your blood.
Yeah, so to blend in to the quote-unquote pact, to show that Bridget's turned, she drinks the blood of Sam and with Ginger, and she just fucking can't do it, of course. So this ensues this chase and fight. She gets a knife.
From the drawer that she like left before,
yeah.
right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And goes from there, right?
Yeah, they fight. They have like a full, and like the werewolf does like 7 backflips and like kicks her in the face. And the werewolf's like, I got titties. Quite literally, why? I got it. Their characters were like, yeah, people like their titties. I get it. But then you have to show me werewolf titties.
It could be that, but I think it's more to show it's a grotesque werewolf transformation. You are literally a mix between a wolf and a woman.
Okay. Bridget stabs the thing in the neck or the face or the chest.
Yeah,
the chest.
in the ribs near her lung.
And it dies on the floor.
It's sad. The lighting is really good here again.
It is, yeah.
Very nice, soft orange lighting. Bridget keeps her promise about being there for her sister when she dies, and that's pretty much the movie, right?
It is, and I just want to tell you, this is why we don't let you choose movies.
Oh, why? Because they're too artsy-fartsy?
Because they're too good.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I know. We can't really rag on it. We usually...
We can't. You see me, I give you Thanksgiving. I give you Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
I was just going to say that.
I give you shit, and we can run with it.
I
can't make jokes about this. For the last 50 minutes, I've been making titty jokes, and they were tasteless.
I really were. I give you Black Friday. I give you Texas Chainsaw, okay? I give you Strangers.
Okay, first of all, Black Friday is still probably one of the funnier episodes because of the boyfriend.
So
Because the boyfriend's fucking creepy.
But you're right. I do have a trend on giving us the artsy movies. But hey, what can I say? I have taste.
And I'm sitting here left to grasp at low-hanging fruits.
Titties?
I'm just like, what? Oh, sure. Yeah, sure. They cared about their titties the entire movie. I'm going to run with that because there ain't anything else.
But that was
If they gave Trina more screen time, I could have ragged on her more,
true.
but she was in the total. If you weren't one of the 3 main characters, you were maybe in the movie for like 3 minutes.
Yeah. Well,
total.
That was the end of the movie. Let's cut it here and then go to our movie roundup.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the movie roundup. I like this movie, as I said in the beginning, and the directing's really good. Lighting. The idea I really enjoy. We always get the male point of view of the werewolf story, right? We don't really get the female. And I do like that they used menstruation as a representation for lycanthropism, or whatever the hell it's actually called. It's a good commentary on that. It's a good commentary on being a woman and, you know, what we go through as we get older and we experience things and a lot of shit that we have to experience. Overall, there's not really much more to say. I just really like this movie. I'd probably give it 7.5, 8, maybe.
This movie was too straight.
Agreed. You did, while we were watching, make the comparison to
Jennifer's Body.
Yes, thank you. Jennifer's Body, which is another good commentary on being a woman and, you know, all that good stuff. So I love the comparison that you made there.
But see, Jennifer's Body had them floating in the air.
Yeah. Which is
this movie's just like straight men. All men. Together? No, because they're not friends. They're sisters, so it'd be weird. Which makes sense, but also they could have been friends. Like, this could have been commentary on that, but no, it's just straight. It's just super straight.
It's sisterhood. It's important.
The traveling pants?
Yes, which is a great movie.
A great movie based off a great book.
Don't go for me.
America Ferrera started there. Look at her career now. It is a good movie. Like I said in the previous bit, this is why we can't let Paige choose movies, because they're always good, and then I have to go for low-hanging fruit.
It's true.
Which means this movie gets a 6.
Yay!
Or a 5.
Oh, okay.
Want to know why?
Why?
She made it harder on me.
That's fair. That's
no,
fair.
in reality, I would probably give this movie around... Well, towards the end of the movie, like I remember it was like the last 5 minutes, I started piecing together in my head. I was like, what would I rate this? Because I'm having a hard time. Like, part of me was like, do like my rating is redacted, because I'm having a really hard time giving this a number. Because, like, it's not a 7, it's not an 8, at least, like, in the feels, but it's not a 6, but it's not a 9. It's like, it's good.
It's a floater, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When the movie's good, I think it's just because I really hate the third act of the movie.
I can see that. Because to me, we had very long pacings in between the acts for 1 and 2, and then we get to 3, and everything's crammed up. I usually have that problem, too, with movies, is they like to cram everything at the end, because it's like, oh, shit, we forgot to wrap it up. I get it.
I think it's just because this movie would have been better as a show. That's what I was going to say.
Okay. You know what? I had the same thought.
It would have dealt with the ending better. I feel like if you gave the ending 2 episodes, it would have been better. Mm-hmm. I just feel like the character dynamics were really destroyed once Ginger became a werewolf, and they couldn't really explore it as much as I think maybe they would have liked to. So that's kind of my big issue. If I had to say, like, what's the ending? The ending's like a 4, in my opinion. The rest of the movie would be like an 8.
Okay.
But I'll give it like a 7.5.
Okay, cool.
Because I've given other movies 7s, and this is better than those movies I gave 7 to.
Cool. Well, I'm glad you liked it. That's great.
I'm interested in what happens in the second one.
For everybody else as well, I would suggest watching it just to continue Bridget's story. Also, Tatiana Maslany's in it, and I really enjoy her. And this is one of, her first big acting roles. She does a good job. Do I enjoy it as much? No, not at all. Not at all. But it's good to see Bridget's story continue.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah. That, I would say that would do it for the episode. But we have some news. Basically, the rest of this year is planned out.
Oh,
so
yes.
I'm going to say it now. You want to know why? Because then we can't change.
We do that all the time. We do it all the time.
Yeah, but here's the thing. When I say right now, I'm about to name the next 5 movies.
Okay, fine. Go ahead. Tell them.
All right. Here we go. Next episode, we'll be celebrating, and Paige's about to feel old on this one, our 2-year anniversary.
Yay!
Part of me wants to go back at some point on my personal time and listen to our first episode and just see where we are in terms of our personalities.
Hopefully we got
This probably
better.
isn't the episode to compare myself in because
No.
I really didn't have much to work with here. We will be doing Trick or Treat because it's close to Halloween.
Okay.
And then we're going to be starting the chilly season with The Thing.
Right on. Which I haven't seen. I haven't seen Trick or Treat or The Thing, so I'm very excited.
I haven't seen The Thing in like 3 years. So it's like I remember what happens, but I don't remember the exact points. I'm like, I'm still going to have a nice amount of suspense because I know it's going to come.
Cool.
And then to end the year from November through, I believe, December is the Evil Dead trilogy. We're going to be going back, watching Evil Dead 1, Evil Dead 2, and Army of Darkness. I've seen Evil Dead 1. I've seen half of Evil Dead 2. I've only heard of Army of Darkness.
I am stoked. I'm so glad that we're going to be ending the year on Army of Darkness because it's so fun and we're going to have a good time.
It seems like a good Christmas movie.
I can
we
feel
don't really
that.
have... Because we did Krampus, we did Gremlins. It's like you could do Gremlins 2. You could do this other stuff. Or you could just do a movie that kind of feels like a fun Christmas time movie in like this like roundabout way. And I feel like Army of Darkness really is that.
Yeah. So I hope you guys stick around for all those. And thank you for sticking around for this one and listening. And I hope you watch this movie. It's a really good one. Please check it out. You can find us on Spotify as Movie in a Haunt. You can find us at YouTube as Movie in a Haunt. And we will catch you guys next time, I hope. Right?
I hope so.
Yeah.
Are you planning not to come back? Are you planning to kill me? What's going on?
No. So please join us because neither of us will be dead. I hope. All right, everybody. Have a good one.
All righty. Bye.
Bye.
Violence and people killed, not a sign of a human